And that means that I was born throughout the heyday. So I wasn't there with Dr. King, and I had the honor of being born into SCLC. And I really do mean from my name down to first come from the hospital, that's where I went. My father was the late Reverend James Orange. And I found it funny because when we talk about women's equality, what people fail to realize is because my dad was literally larger than life, they don't know that my mother was just as involved and was involved in the movement as well. My mom is from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and she came over and she was the secretary for the late Reverend T.Y. Rogers. When Dr. King asked Reverend Rogers, to come up and be the president of the director of chapters and affiliates, then that's how she came with him. So that's how she was always in office. You said that. I thought, Mom said, yeah, we were always in the office. The boys wouldn't let us go out on the field. That's what she said. And so, I guess because my dad was always out there, somebody had to stay there. When I think of my mom's role and their role as a couple, I see where a lot of the women did get shafted. Because when you talk about my mother, it's always the widow of the late Reverend James Orange, instead of giving her her own due. Like I said, she was in the office, and I said, well, Mom, one of the questions that we were asked was, you know, when did you meet Dr. King, and how was it that you met him? She said, I was just enamored with him like all other teenagers. He came to Tuscaloosa to install Reverend Rogers at the First African Church in Tuscaloosa, and that's where she met him. And so she said, I was just enamored by that. And I've always understood where my father was when Dr. King died. He was at the bottom of the steps wrestling with Andrew Young when the shot came out. So he was there at the Lorraine Hotel. So I always knew, and we've had that discussion with him, and I said, well, Mom, where were you when you all found out? And she said, what happened was they would always get telephone calls that Dr. King was dead, that he'd been assassinated. And she said, and Lula Williams, who's not here, but Lula Williams said she was on the switchboard at the time, and said they would always get calls that he was dead. And she was down at the basement, because I guess the finance room was in the basement, so because she worked in the finance room, and said they finally got the call, and it was Tom Offenberger came down and said, no, this is for real. This time it's for real. And so they came upstairs, and everybody came upstairs, and they said everybody who worked in the field or who was in town descended on the office because they were in the office. Lula said she fell out, but Mom said everybody descended on the office. So I'm honored to have both mother and father play equal roles in such a, I mean, y'all just down that I can call y'all my family extension. Because I grew up in SCLC under Dr. Everett, so I know nothing but. So thank you. Thank you.